opinion has to, again, come along with the data.
Right.
Just a different form.
There needs to be something to make it substantiate.
Yes.
Back it up.
Yes. How can you defend your opinion?
Mm-hmm.
Well, more often than not, an unwanted opinion, it has no defense.
Now that's cold.
Right? It has.
What's going on, family? Kevin and Jesse here with you guys today, the Elite State of Mind podcast. As always, our goal is to listen, learn, and grow. Jesse, how you doing today, man?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I am doing amazing.
Good,
family,
good.
make sure you guys like, follow, and subscribe to our Instagram, YouTube, Facebook page. Make sure you hit that little bell on YouTube for me so you get notified every Wednesday as Jesse and I come to you guys, helping you to listen, learn, and grow. Family, what we're going to talk about today is unwanted opinions and irrelevant data. Now, it stems from that phrase there. It stems from this book, Napoleon Hill's Language of Thought. I think it was $15 on Amazon. If you get a chance, make sure you go order one. I promise you it's life-changing. Now, Jesse, so when before you had read The Language of Thought, if someone was to ask you about unwanted opinions and irrelevant data, what would you have thought about then? What would have came to mind?
I probably just would have thought about just the opening word. It's unwanted. Everybody. Before I read the book, my mind wasn't in the arena of understanding that not only do opinions abound, but people don't understand how to keep them to themselves.
And that's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And until you come to a place of emotional intelligence to understand if your opinions or your data doesn't line up with what somebody else is trying to accomplish, then it's irrelevant and unwanted. That's when I believe you really known that you've grown.
For sure.
And you've really stepped into your emotional intelligence is when you can understand that even if it's not of ill intention, but because it doesn't align with what you say you want to accomplish,
right,
then my opinions, they're unwanted and my data is irrelevant.
Yeah.
Because if I can't get on the train with you to help you achieve that goal, then I just need to shut up.
Right. All the way.
Keep it to myself.
Yeah.
Why do you feel? Well, first let me ask this. So now after reading the book, what are now your thoughts on unwanted opinions and irrelevant data?
That those who decide to share those unwanted, they can't help it. Because that's just been the ebb and flow of their life.
Yes.
That is their particular rhythm, to accept unwanted opinions, and therefore they give unwanted opinions.
And that's the biggest thing is, are you accepting these opinions? Because you don't have to.
Oh, no, you shouldn't.
And so often, family, you're allowing people to speak into your life that, one, have no power and have no purpose. And as Jesse said, they have no right to be saying the things that they are saying to you or to your children or to your spouse about whatever it is y'all got going on.
Yeah.
And the next thing you know, life is bad because you've taken in these negative thoughts, these negative opinions, this data that wasn't, even designed to help you reach your goal and destination.
Right.
And the next thing you know, you're like, man, what happened?
Right.
What was, and you can't find the root of it.
No, not at all.
And now you're out running around giving out unwanted opinions.
Right.
And irrelevant data.
You fall into that same trap.
That, and now I want to stress again the danger. Oh, the dangers.
Well, the danger.
The dangers of unwanted opinions and irrelevant data.
Yeah.
One, we are all held accountable.
Yes.
For the words we say.
Definitely.
We are all held accountable for the things and the conversations that we bring to somebody in whatever it is they're going through. So be very cautious, be very careful in how you approach people in whatever their season of life is.
Definitely.
How do you now, you've read the book, you know that part. How do you now approach, situations when it is, time to, to give an opinion or to give, or to give data on certain subjects?
Well, just being, from the field, my field of study is always about the data. It's about research. It's about it being relevant. It's about it being timely. It's have we cross-referenced between 4 to 6 different sources that also have gone through the process of being vetted, that they've been cross-examined themselves. So before we give that data is going to be supremely fresh. It's
Right.
going to be relevant. It's not. It's going to be hard to refute. That, right? We're making sure that because it's gone through that scientific process,
Right.
it's gone through those steps that we know that it's pure in its essence. Right?
Would you say there's been some application of
Definitely,
the data?
definitely, because you're going through the process, you have to apply it, right? So from theory to application, then on the other side, it's okay. Did the answers that we got from this application, we can go, yes, this idea is correct, or no, the idea is not.
Right.
Right? So we understand that it is viable.
Right.
Right? It's something that is an acceptable sell, quote unquote.
Very,
Right?
very true.
So we take it along those particular terms. And as it pertains to the opinion, right? The opinion is something, we're going to look at it from a judicial standpoint.
Right.
Right? The opinion has to, again, come along with the data.
Right.
Just a different form.
There needs to be something to make it substantiate.
Yes.
Back
yes.
it up.
Yes. How can you defend your opinion? Well, more often than not, in an unwanted opinion, it has no defense.
Now that's cold.
Right? It
Now
has no defense. So anytime somebody's bringing you their opinion that you didn't ask for, more often than not, it doesn't have any weight. Because they're not coming behind you and saying, hey, this is my opinion on something. Anytime, the last one was the opinion on Roe versus Wade. Okay? The opinion, the justice had to write it all out.
Sure.
And inside of that, any opinion has multiple sources that are going to back the idea. So when you're having a conversation with someone who has an opinion, when you're dealing with them, okay, yes, you've given me the premise of your opinion. Now, what else do you have for me?
Right.
Do you have anything to actually substantiate what you're saying? Or are you giving me the hot air balloon?
Right. Is your opinion, what does it have to stand on? What ledge does it have? Because family, if somebody is trying to talk to you about things that they've never experienced in life, their opinion has nothing to stand on. So let me run down the list. If they ain't never had no kids, it's really hard for them to have an opinion on how to raise them. If they've never been married, it's hard for them to have an opinion on how to be married.
They're limited.
If they've never had a different sexual orientation, it's different. It's difficult for them to bring to you and invalidate your feelings on what it is you're going through in life. If they've never gotten a college degree, how are they going to then tell you?
It's kind of difficult.
If they've never opened a business and ran it successfully.
Right.
These things are unwanted opinions and irrelevant data. Because, and here's the thing with unwanted opinions and irrelevant data, they're wrapped in fear.
Yes.
Because most of these people have them because they are too afraid to go do the actions themselves.
That's right.
Because the people actually out doing things, they're not out giving unwanted opinions.
Nope, they're busy.
They don't have irrelevant data.
They're busy.
Because if I'm doing, oh, hey, bro, I seen you lost 30 pounds. I got some data
Right.
as to how I lost this 30 pounds. Right? But the person who ain't, this
Well,
still big.
wish upon a star.
Hey.
Jiminy Cricket.
Out there with the Pinocchio nose.
Pretty much.
That's how you can tell these people with the irrelevant data.
Yes.
They got the Pinocchio nose. And just stop talking to them.
Yeah.
No matter who they are.
Yeah.
No matter who they are. Because it's too
Agreed.
dangerous to you to take in these negative thoughts and vibrations. It's too dangerous to the people tethered to you.
Yes.
To take those things in because there is not anything good that can come out of them. Because, and here is just my belief, your creator is going to bring to you people that are on the same wavelength. They're in the same hypnotic rhythm, as the young kids say, the same vibration
Yeah. Same
that
vibe.
you're on.
Yeah.
And those are people that need to be in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Yeah.
But if everything they got going is contradictory to how you're living,
Yeah. They're not for you. I'm sorry. They're just not. They just are not. And it might be tough. It might be difficult to understand, to comprehend, to even fathom. But it's to your betterment that when your eyes of understanding have been opened, that you make that decision.
right.
Right? That you understand when you see them for who they are, for where they are. It doesn't mean that you don't love them any less. It just means that we're not rocking the same way we used to.
True.
We want two different things out of life. When they are complacent with where they are, life is good for them.
Sure.
Right? And when you determine that you have more to give, that you're in the pursuit of happiness.
Right.
That when you want to not just have generational but multi-generational wealth in all 5 areas, then you understand there are certain people that just can no longer hold the same space and place that they used to.
Those are facts, because there's something else better that's going to occupy that space. There is another form of matter, whether it's a person, whether it's a book, whether it is just you by yourself, that is going to be more beneficial for you than whatever it is they're bringing. And a part of our journey is to understand, like you said, it doesn't mean I don't love you, like I used to. It just means I'm going down this road.
Right.
You're headed to Dallas.
Yeah.
I'm headed to Cali.
Yeah.
We're going 2 separate places.
Yeah,
and I should be adult enough. I should have the emotional intelligence to say, hey man, best of luck down there.
Yeah.
If you need me, call me.
Hit me up.
But I got to go on out here and do what I got to do. But we're still so childish and so immature in our feelings and so wrapped in our feelings that if you're not listening to what I have to say, well, now I'm angry at you. Yeah. Now we need to have a fight. Now you don't love the Lord.
Right. Yeah.
Now it's all of these things.
Now you ain't living right.
Right.
Yeah.
Simply because you've defined success differently.
Right.
Than I define success.
Right.
Jesse, how do we move to a place of getting to where, especially in friendships, and then one of the biggest ones is with our children. Because as they grow up, there are so many things that will, shape and mold them, and you're going to do the best you can to make them, moral, ethical, loving and kind and caring people, able to show empathy. But there are things that are going to shape them outside of your house.
Yes.
How do we move from a place of, if they begin to change their thinking, that we don't even allow them to call what we did into question, that we can have another adult conversation with them?
Man, I think we just, like you said, just being aware that there are outside influences that are going to, shape their thought pattern. But it is our job to make sure that they are able to redirect themselves. I think one of the things that sticks out is train up a child in the way that they should go. Training, as we're aware of, is not a one-time thing. Training is, I have to understand the psychology of why you're doing what you're doing.
Right.
I'm understanding the, behavioral aspect. There's a spectrum there. So if we're going to train to get them back on the right path, that means we're dealing with the mind frame. So as, a parent, especially, as a father, then I have to understand the neuroscience of, right? The neuro-linguistic. That's why we're doing more reading.
Right.
Pathways that is there. So if I'm telling them, not just telling them, but showing them, tell, show, and then I'm doing, then they understand how to get back. Right. To get back on the wavelength, and that they're going to be critical thinkers. I think that's the most important thing. So very grateful to my mom for that. Sure. Right? You being a critical thinker, you're going to put everything through a filter. Yes. Right? There are many people, as we talk about, unwanted opinions and irrational data, that because of the position that they held in our life, that we would take what they say as gospel truth.
Face value.
But face value. But along the way, as that critical thinking element comes into play, as we become more aware, then we'll take what they've said and begin to filter it. Sure. Right? And that's when, that's what makes them nervous.
Right. And, the big thing is you got to understand, as much as things stay the same, they do change. Yes. Right? So as I'm trying to navigate life in 2022, there are some different factors, some different variables than there were in 1950. Right? So as my filter is probably a lot different than somebody growing up in the 50s and 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah. Right? Yeah. My kids, their filter is going to be different than mine was. For sure. And I, as you say all the time, do I put myself in the midst of what they have going on to understand what their reasoning was? Yeah. But then do I have data to show them as our mentor told us, no, oh, hey, I did that back then.
Yeah. Let me show you.
Don't do X, Y, Z.
Don't do it.
And I can step outside and say, you can see,
Right.
right? But so often, again, I have nothing to back up the conversation that I'm trying to bring simply because you should value me because of the title I hold.
Yeah.
But my title has lacked actions for some time.
Yeah.
Whether you were, a mom, dad, aunt, uncle, parent, teacher, and even sometimes spouse.
Right. Right.
Make sure, if you are blessed enough, to become a husband, make sure that you put the actions in behind that title daily.
Yeah.
Because if not, your credit limit's gonna run out.
Yep.
And then you wonder why
Declined.
nobody's listening to you because you have unwanted opinions and you got irrelevant data.
Yeah.
You broke, but you telling somebody to save money.
Uh-oh.
You broke, won't go get no job,
Yeah.
but you criticizing somebody else's work ethic.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're an immoral character, but you have an opinion on somebody else's mess up.
Right. How dare you?
Why am I so pious?
Right.
Why do I just have to be the Pharisees?
That's okay.
You can never call into question my teachings of the scripture.
Right.
We can't even have no conversations like that because now I need to flog you
Right.
and cast you out.
It's all right. I've learned, right, through the reading, through the study, that they can't help it.
Why do you think that? Why do you think they can? What may be the reason that they cannot seem to not give out these unwanted opinions?
Drifting. Right? They become comfortable with being the authority of nothingness.
Ooh.
So because that's the case, then when they get questioned, the only thing they can give you for an answer is nothing.
Because they ain't got no money. They have no answers.
They have no answers, right? They have no thought answer because they're reading nothing of relevant data. Everything that's being, told or said is brought back from, the last thing that was read 10 years ago. Listen, I'm a huge fan of old books.
Sure.
Right? I think, one of my favorites, The Physiology of Taste, was written in 1865 by a French author and doctor, right? Which tells us about the things that we're dealing with right now, type 2 diabetes. They just call it the sugar attack back then.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So, but it's speaking to, hey, when we eliminated these, again, highly processed foods, we eliminate, the high sugar, then all of a sudden, here we go. The treatment of these, morbidly obese individuals and, these fainting spells and all this other stuff that they really didn't understand back then, going away. And we find it to be true now. So there was being able to take something that's relevant.
Right.
It stands the test of time. This is why science is so important, right? What worked back then, they give you the protocol. It still works today.
Yes.
When we're talking to these people, they're not using data points like that.
Right.
They're more on the feelings and the emotions, and it's always been this way.
But it doesn't need to be.
Right.
Doesn't have to be this way.
Right.
We don't always have to be, middle class.
Right.
You don't always have to be poor. You don't always have to be broke.
Right.
You don't always have to work at the same company for 96 years hoping to get a pension.
Just making it. Just making it.
You can, look around and say, well, if you guys aren't willing to pay me more, well, I'm going to go work over here. Even if I have to take a step back for 6 months to a year, I can negotiate my contract because it's not what you're worth, it's what you negotiate.
That's right.
Right? And if I'm able to negotiate more, then that's what I'll get.
That's what I'm going to do.
But no, I tell you I want to start this business.
Right.
No, you shouldn't do that. You're not going to have no health benefits. And, it's just too rough out there. And, 96% of the entrepreneurs out there don't make it. Well, how do you know I'm them?
Right.
How do you know I might not be in the 4%? Why won't you encourage me to at least see if I'm in the 4%?
Yeah.
Why don't you have some relevant data and bring me the 9 to 5 millionaire?
Right.
Where he says, hey, don't quit your 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
Do it like this. Because I did this,
Yep.
and this brought me success. Right? Or if I choose to dive head first, why don't you support me like there's no tomorrow?
Right. Right.
But no, all you want to tell me is that I can't do something.
Right. Just because you can't. That's why you tell me I can't.
Like you said last time, you're projecting who you are on me.
Yeah, not gonna do it.
And that leads us into how they try to and want to project their fears onto other people.
Yes.
Family.
Yes.
If you didn't catch our last episode, where we talked about valuing the right relationships, as Jesse said, not allowing people to project themselves onto you. If somebody operates in any amount of fear, it's a dangerous thing.
Yes.
Especially when they begin to project that onto you, because you may be a person who gets a thought, an idea, and the next thing you know, you're out there taking massive action.
Yeah.
And great.
Yep.
You don't always have to have the best of plans.
No.
We talked about plans, and trust me, we are firm believers in them.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Oh, yes.
But if you need to go out and take action, go take action.
Yeah.
As you're getting your plan together. Right? Don't let fear trap you in a place of being stagnant.
Overanalysis creates paralysis, right? Sometimes you got to go. Sometimes you got to go.
We learned that playing football, where you'd be listening to the O-line coach talking.
Yeah.
Like, hey man, if there's no movement, you lost the battle. You heard the D-line coach talking. If you're not penetrating,
Right.
you lost the battle.
Yeah.
The stalemate's not what we want.
No.
We've got to have some movement.
Yeah.
There's got to
No
be
way.
some ground gained one way or another.
Oh, no. Yep.
So while you're out here doing this thing called life, make sure what you're trying to do is gaining ground. And unwanted opinions and irrelevant data, they're going to keep you in a stalemate.
That's right.
Because they're going to make you question. They're going to make you continue to think. They're going to make you lack action in what you're doing, when you might have had 15 people tell you, hey man, write that book, dog. We're waiting on it. We can't wait to read it. But then you got one person, well, back in 96.
Yeah.
You did X, Y, Z, and you shouldn't really be writing no book.
You don't need to be writing any book. I don't think that's what you need to be doing.
Who are you to write this book?
Yeah, tell them nobody asked you, man.
Jesse, how does a person overcome unwanted opinions and irrelevant data?
Just understanding. Again, man, we say it all the time. You got to know yourself. Know your creator. And just understand that you've been placed here. You're here to do great things. So if somebody is saying something to you that is the opposite of that, they're not in alignment with the creator, and they're not correct. They're just flat out wrong.
Right.
Right? So just understand that. Just know, if you don't have anything positive, if you're not on this positive energy, then I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry. It sucks to be you. Really, it does.
Facts.
And I'm sorry
Facts.
that you're mad at life. I'm sorry that you're bitter at opportunities that you missed. I'm sorry that you a no person. Yeah.
Don't be a no person. Don't do it.
That's not who we are, so we're not going that route. We're not even going to accept that.
Be a yes person.
Yeah.
I can't tell y'all that enough. Be a yes person.
Any chance, any opportunity, say yes, because it opens doors.
Say yes.
To learn, to grow, to do, and to become. You can only do those things if you say yes.
Very true. Again, no is the root of nothing.
Yeah.
Do not let nothing take root in your life by being a no person.
Yeah.
Say yes to as many things as you can.
That's right.
As many things as you can. And you're going to see you're going to remove people's unwanted opinions.
Yeah.
Because you're going to create such a gap, it's going to be hard for them to get to you.
They can't even reach you.
And that's going to be one of the best things for you, is once you create the gap, those people having access to you. One, every time you talk to them, they're going to be upset.
Yeah.
And they're going to say, oh, we don't talk no more. I never see you, yada, yada. Because I'm busy.
Right. We don't need to.
And most of the time, those people won't call you.
No.
They won't text you.
No.
Right? But again, as Jesse said, and here's the thing, these people with unwanted opinions and irrelevant data, they're not friends.
Right.
Because as Jesse said, friends put themselves in the midst.
They're in the midst
of what you have going on.
Period.
And friends, most of the time, have wanted opinions and relevant data.
And they're not going to give you just some BS thoughts. They're not, because they're vested. They understand your rhythm because they're in the middle of what you have going on.
Facts.
They're in agreement with what you have going on. Because if you're not positive, if you're in a negative space, they're pulling you out of it and telling you that you're full of it. This is not what we do. Let's go.
Right.
Not the other. We haven't talked in eons. Well, it'll be a few more eons before we do.
Because one, you look like Eon the Terrible.
Right.
So
Sorry.
No, man. It's one of those things, family, where you really, really, really have to, again, as we talked about last time, valuing the relationships that you have. Just because somebody used to hold a position in your life, or just because you used to have been in love with them, or whatever the case may be, if they're running around being a danger by giving out these unwanted opinions and irrelevant data, do not be afraid to say, hey man, let's not kick it like we used to. And no, I'm not gonna see you for a while. No, we're not gonna talk. No, you can't be around me and my kids and my wife because you're not bringing anything. There's no return on my investment from giving you my time.
No, not at all.
None whatsoever. Jesse, before we get out of here, what I'd appreciate if you could share with the family is, what have you seen in your personal life that once you begin to, move away from people with unwanted opinions and irrelevant data, what has your growth been like?
Man, it's accelerated. I made the tough decision, separate myself. And a lot of it has happened just because of the study. I focused on my self-improvement, my self-development, the career development, all of those things. Not focusing on, most people will focus on what someone else is doing, how they did me wrong, how they did this, how they did that. Change that, take that energy and put it in you. And the more that you do that, and the more that you study, and you increase your language, and you increase your understanding, you increase your empathy, you increase, the emotional intelligence. Like you said, that caveat gets huge. They can't touch you. They can't reach out to you because, like you said, when they try to hold a conversation with you, because your language, your thought language is so much higher. Right? We're not saying that we're better than anybody. What we're saying is that our thought language is so high that what used to intrigue you no longer does.
Right.
What used to captivate you can no longer hold you. So you're just not the same. Right. There's not a better way to put it. You're just not the same. And they only know you from how they used to know you and not where you are now. Don't feel bad for that.
No, do not. Family, what I want to share with you is this. If you're one of these people and you've been watching us today and you go, man, am I giving out unwanted opinions and irrelevant data? Am I trying to bully people into believing what I'm saying? Stop right now. Take Jesse's advice. Focus on your self-improvement. Like I said, I would greatly encourage you guys to, again, make sure you go pick up, The Language of Thought. You can read Outwitting the Devil, Think and Grow Rich. And that's just to name a few. But begin to read, begin to get around, some positive people that are putting massive actions into becoming, more than what they are today.
That's right.
But again, I cannot stress you guys enough. If you're out here giving out these unwanted opinions and irrelevant data, stop it right now. Please, family, we sure appreciate you guys for tuning in with us today. We know it wouldn't have been what it was had you not taken time out of your day. Please make sure you like, follow, and subscribe to our Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Y'all have a great day.